Welcome to the Alpha Nerd Podcast. We are back with our Eternal Weekend Legacy Championship coverage. I am currently talking with Samantha Murphy, one of the top 4 players in the Eternal Weekend. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So, this year, during the Eternal Weekend 2022 Legacy Champions, you top 4'd while playing Blue Red Delver.
Stock is a Delver.
It might have been stock, but you did really well with it. You top 8, actually you top 4, which is really amazing. So it may have been stock, but it carried you through the day. So why don't you tell us about your day and some of your matchups and everything, how it went during the round robin and then your way to top 8.
Yeah, so going into the event, it was pretty obvious to me that the format is White Initiative versus Delver. Obviously, I'm a little bit more known for Tempo Doomsday, which I top 8'd Legacy Pit with, and is kind of my pet deck. But it doesn't line up well into Initiative, so I decided to just play Delver instead, and obviously was a good choice. I ended up playing White Initiative 3 times, and I beat them all 3 times. I feel like Delver is supposed to be favored in the matchup, but I don't know if that's actually true or not. I find that I was winning basically all of those matches because my opponents just didn't really know how to mulligan the deck properly. And in game 3 of my quarterfinals, and then my I'm forgetting what round it was, but I think it was to go 6-0. My opponent in game 3 kept just very sketchy 7s and basically did not cast spells, and they just lost the game. I think they were looking for maybe another mana source or whatever, but yeah, I just was winning a lot against mono white just because people I think were new to the deck and didn't realize that when you get busted starts, the deck is really, really unbeatable. I won my round 2 match actually against the Delver Mirror because my opponent saw my name, thought I was on Doomsday, and mulled to 5 for a hand with a force of will into it. So that was pretty nice. The name recognition going in my favor for once was kind of nice.
Yes, name recognition definitely helps, especially if people are knowing that you're going to play a certain deck or know you for a certain deck. It really helps you, especially when you come out the side with a completely different deck and decide to play. So during that, you, like you said, you did well. You were undefeated all the way up until the very end. Let's talk about some of the harder matchups you had and some of the better matchups you had, since the field was Izzet Delver, Initiative, and 4-color control.
Yeah, so my only 2 losses on the weekend were to the same player, so both of them were on coverage, so yeah, I lost twice to 4-color control with like 1 main deck Terminus, and seems kind of skewed to be mono white because he had like 2 Snapcaster mages in the main as well. I don't play a lot of Delver recently, but I started Legacy with Delver like 2.5 years ago was when I got into Legacy. So clearly I haven't actually played that matchup very much. I feel like game 1 on the Swiss against Hank, I felt like I played pretty well because my hand lined up well and I thought I played it well, and then I think I got progressively worse in the matchup over time. So I would say don't go watch my coverage, and I don't think it was a good like a good showing of how to play against 4-colors Delver. But yeah, nothing too interesting. I mean, like the thing about Delver is it just kind of does the thing every time, and when you don't, you cast Expressive Iteration until it does. Kind of much more boring than talking about Tempo Doomsday, where I swear there's like a good story from each round. I think I have cast Dark Ritual in the most weird ways out of anyone in the past year. I'll make that claim.
Fair enough. So I'm going to jump into my next question is, when did you start playing Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, so I'm relatively new as a player. I started playing at the end of 2016 and like playing with coworkers and just like playing more like kitchen table. And then my first pre-release was Dominaria, and slowly got more and more into competitive play. and like played some SCGs locally and stuff. I think actually my first event was Mythic Championship 1, which was in Cleveland, which is where I live. So it was kind of nice, and like that was a pretty hype event, so that kind of got me into it. And then at the start of the pandemic, I was playing more online. And the nice thing about Legacy Online is it's kind of really cheap comparatively to paper. And so I started trying it out. I fell in love with Grixis Control, even though it wasn't playable even at that time at the start of the pandemic. And yeah, just you can tell I love my Grixis piles. So
You're definitely making me feel old. I started playing Magic in Prophecy, which was not May of '99, which is a long time. So I'm a dinosaur of Magic.
yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I gave MTGO a try, and I just could not find myself liking it. I struggled a lot with the timers and everything else during the pandemic. I tried to play the Eternal Weekend that was online only, and I struggled severely with the timing and the triggers of the game. I definitely prefer getting to play paper Magic.
I love paper Magic. I do play online, obviously. I've kind of started streaming a little bit, but like paper Magic to me is just way better than online. I like interacting with people. I like casting the cards. I like having pretty cards. Uh, so I was really happy. I'm basically gonna try and go to every major Legacy event I can. Eternal Weekend was really cool because it was my first one. Um, there's just like a lot of cool cards, a lot of cool things to see, and like I really appreciate that. Basically, everyone there has a really nice deck, and so I felt actually for once like my deck doesn't look that cool comparatively, so it's a little jealous. All my white border duels are a real source of shame.
Who cares about your white border duels? Life is expensive.
Life is expensive.
But yeah, I was super happy that they brought it back to Philadelphia for the Eternal Weekend. I mean, it was in Columbus for a while. I didn't like Columbus as much as I do love the Philly venue where it's at with everything.
Yeah, the Philadelphia venue is really cool since it's actually like downtown. I guess the benefit of both of them is you have Reading Terminal for Philly and then North Market at Columbus, so that's both really nice. But Columbus just doesn't really have much of a personality, in my opinion, as a city.
Yes, I definitely prefer Reading Terminal Station. It's so much bigger and better.
It's just so much bigger. I think it's nice.
So yeah, you said about you love playing Doomsday, and you chose to play as a Delver. Why don't you talk about why you didn't play Doomsday for this?
So yeah, I love Doomsday. I don't think I'm very good at Turbo Doomsday unless I'm playing online because I find a lot of pressure making the piles, and Turbo piles in a lot of ways much more scientific, and so sometimes I struggle to pile them. But I think the problem is that I don't think Turbo Doomsday is even that good against Initiative as far as playing a fast combo deck goes. So it's like not really that appealing to me. I would love to go back to Tempo Doomsday, but I've tried a lot of bad cards, and I don't think anything really helps. So, and because the format has just sped up, basically, that Tempo Doomsday is just not where you want to be. I think if I had to play an event like, like if I had to play the Super Qualifier tomorrow, I would play Delver, but I may play Grixis Delver instead of Blue Red. I think if you play the typical Delver cards in Blue Red and not lose your mind and play all these bad black cards, like Hymn to Turok is not playable. I'm sorry, people need to hear that. But like that card is just no longer welcome in Legacy. It's just I wish it was, but it's not castable. If you play like just like Baleful Strix and Snuff Out and like maybe like an opposition agent or a plague engineer and like have a very light black splash, I think it helps in your mirror because Baleful Strix EI basically gives you just like tons of value that it's really easy to win the pseudo mirror, which is why I was winning with tempo so much. And then Snuff Out, I think, really helps your white initiative matchup even better because then you get Force of Will plus Snuff Out as this like turn zero free interaction that allows you to actually keep up with them. So I'm into the idea of playing a Grixis Delver deck, but I just haven't really tested it. But yeah. I think you just don't put Dark Confidant on your deck. Don't put Him to Turok. Don't put all these other bad black cards. Just play normal stuff. Play the good stuff, and try and hedge for Delver and White Initiative. So
Yeah, definitely that's the deck to beat. But you did amazing. You did well. You earned a heck of a chunk of money going out and playing that weekend, and you'll be able to buy yourself some of your nicer cards that you need and get to play other decks as you continue to do well in these events.
yeah, I was able to finish my playset of LEDs from the store credits, so that was pretty nice. I like going to these events and leaving with more money than I went in with. It's a better feeling than just like spewing value.
I can definitely agree with you there. But I got steamrolled. I went 2 and 4 at the event, and then I just dropped. But for me, I still had a wonderful, wonderful time, even though I didn't prize or money anything, of getting to spend the time with a lot of the older players that I haven't seen in years and got to do stuff with and talk to and reminisce about some of the old days of Magic and all the stuff we got to do. And it was just really great to be able to sit across from them and get to socialize and catch up with all of them.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I used to, when I started playing, I just didn't really know anybody. I would just go to events and just play and not really meet anybody because everyone knew people. But thankfully, I've met a lot more people, so it is nice to go to these events and see people that you wouldn't normally see because they're not local.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. So, Miss Samantha, we're starting to run low on time. So, why don't you take this next section and, plug some of your content that you have available or where we can find you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Sam Rose Murphy. I tend to post magic-y stuff, sometimes some ship posts. Potentially posting more and going into next year. And then you can also follow my Twitch, which my Twitch is Samantha_Murphy. Streaming Legacy, Modern, Pioneer. Hopefully White Initiative and Expressive Iteration leave the format and I'll be happy. And I'll stream more Legacy, but probably catch me around like 9 to midnight Eastern on weekdays. So
awesome. Well, once again, love to thank you for taking the time out and coming on to my podcast for this interview and talking with me for the time that you did. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And with that, we're going to wish you a good night. Thank you guys for listening to our interview. Please check out our Discord, our Twitter, our Facebook, and our YouTube channel, along with our hopefully soon to be upcoming Twitch channel as well. Everyone have a good night.